Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. I think we are live. Let me pull up the music. Oh no. Hold on a minute here. I will not remove it. Why? Wait a minute. It says it's no longer supported, but I've been able to turn it back on every time before. Is this the end? No. Yes. Son of a bitch! Google! Why you do me like this? Okay. I think we want the other screen for a better frame rate. Let me see. Yeah, this is the screen with good frame rate. I think we're gonna listen to this one. I like this one. T2 Pedu. I still read like I'm a first grader. I'm sorry. T2 To Pedome. Let's see. Let's see how they say it. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, I need my monitor audio or this is going to turn out poorly. Here we got the headphones. Got the headphones. Can I plug it in like this? Oh, that's pretty good. I thought I could hear. Shoot. Oh man. Sorry. Absolutely awful. Okay. Is this gonna work? Sorry, no green screen today. Lazy Sunday. Alright, are we gonna get a copyright strike? How will I know? I have to pull up the stream on the other page. And actually I want to see, are we really streaming? Just a minute here. It says we're live. It says we're live. I think my audio is way too high. Way too high. Oh man, way too high. It might just be my headphones. I know it's going to be fine. Okay, here we go. Let's play the music.
Δεν βολεύει ποτέ, δεν βολεύει τόσο όσο να μην ξεβολεύει εσένα. Και τι γίνεται με μένα? Δεν δουλεύει όλο αυτό, δεν δουλεύει. Με μπερδεύει μωρό μου, μπερδεύει εμένα. Ξεμπερδεύει μόνο σένα. Τώρα κάνουμε όλο κύκλους. Δεν μπορείς τους τίτλους. Τι μου το λες, περιμένεις να συγκινηθώ? Τι το παιδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Για πού οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Τι το παιδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Για πού οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Τι το παιδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Σοβαρεύει όλο αυτό, σοβαρεύει. Ένας από τους δυο περισσεύει ο ένας. Περισσεύει πάντα ο ένας. Δεν βολεύει ποτέ, δεν βολεύει. Τόσο όσο να μην ξεβολεύει εσένα. Και τι γίνεται με μένα. Τώρα κάνουν όλο κύκλους. Δεν μπορείς τους τίτλους. Τι μου το λες, περιμένεις να συγκινηθώ. Τι το παιδεύουμε, δεύουμε, δεύουμε. Για πού οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Τι το παιδεύουμε, δεύουμε, δεύουμε. Για πού οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Τι το παιδεύουμε, δεύουμε, δεύουμε. Κάνουν όλο κύκλους. Δεν μπορείς τους τίτλους. Τι μου το λες, περιμένεις να συγκινηθώ. Τι το παιδεύουμε, δεύουμε, δεύουμε. Για πού οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Τι το παιδεύουμε, δεύουμε, δεύουμε. Για πού οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε, οδεύουμε. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Έχει κρατήσει πολύ και έχω πια κουραστεί. Τι το παιδεύουμε, δεύουμε, δεύουμε.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm still not sure what is the right audio level. I'm not sure how to even test it without messing up. Maybe if I shut off the screen volume, then I can. Here we're on this screen. Here we're. All right. Well, I don't think that's such a big deal. Maybe I can turn the gain up just a little bit. So it looks like I'm going into the yellow at least. I think that's probably about the right level. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I went to Greece. It was amazing. Folks, travel if you can. That's all I can say. I had a great time in Greece. My wife, I went for my best friend's wedding for a long time, Paul and Crystal. Two of my best friends since college, Paul since high school. They've been together for over 10 years. They wanted to have a destination wedding, and so we went to Mykonos, and it was amazing. They had the wedding at probably the best view on the entire island, without a doubt, all the way up, very high. They had this beautiful arrangement of flowers that was on a what do you call the thing? It's like, it goes like this. I don't know how it didn't blow away. They must have done this before. Whoever put the thing together did a great job. And the food, oh my God. Food at a wedding in Greece, as you can imagine, if you know anything about Greek food service, it was absolutely incredible. There must have been 34 courses. Alright, so enough about my trip to Greece. What we're going to do today, if we haven't got a copyright strike yet, hopefully, what we're going to do is we are going to... Oh, by the way, check out this song. If you like that band, there's a link in the description. Check out this song. It's the Malaka song. If you know one Greek word, you should know Malakas. If you have ever played Assassin's Creed, the Greek one, you probably know this word already. Okay, for the meat and potatoes, here, what we're going to do, I ramble for a little while, and then we get onto the Talos stuff. Part 1. Alright, so what we're going to do first, I think, is we're going to look at... I'm not sure what the best way to look at this is. Probably we're going to log into Talos... we're going to Tailscale. So there's a couple things we're going to do today. We're going to rebuild our Talos image for whatever the latest version of Cozystack is running on. So if you're not familiar with Cozystack, you must be a first-time visitor. But I talk about Cozystack all the time on this channel. We use it to build a cloud platform out of bare metal instances. So you take your disks, you have some extra disks on your control plane nodes, and you use those to provision container storage that can be distributed or it can be local. You can set up private VPC style networks for individual tenants on your cluster who can have their own Kubernetes clusters inside that they can manage completely. They get cluster admin and everything, and it's all very exciting. So we've got a Cozystack cluster here, and it's got 4 actual nodes. One of them is just a worker node, and the rest are control plane nodes. And if we're going to see how I have my network set up, I think the best place to start is probably the Tailscale console. So I'm going to trip over the words a few times today because it's Tailscale on Talos, and I'm going to reach for the wrong word every time. Maybe I won't do it anymore now that I've said that, but okay, so Tailscale. We have 2 subnet routers here, and let's see what we can find out about each one. One of them is one of these nodes here. It's actually one of the control plane nodes. And it has 2 subnets that it routes traffic to when you connect to the Tailscale tailnet. And then the other one here has 2 subnets as well. So this is my file server that has actually 2 network interfaces. One on the .12 LAN subnet, that is the main user-facing subnet of my home LAN. If you join my Wi-Fi, if you go on this Wi-Fi, you'll get that subnet. And if you are one of the Talos nodes, you're on this subnet. Okay, so if we look at, maybe we can go to the dashboard and see the nodes. You can see they each have a IP on that subnet, and actually some of them have 2 IPs here. Since this one is the lead control plane node right now, it has the VIP. There is a place where you can find out all about my Cozystack config here. I think there is another directory in here that has even better documentation. It might be this one. Somewhere in here I have a bunch of information, probably Here we go. About the network, right? And what's running on Cozystack. And this README is not exactly up to date because Cozystack is a moving target. It's updating all the time. But the content here is up to date. All of the tenant Helm releases. So if you want to understand Cozystack, you can understand it as a huge bundle of Helm releases that run on Kubernetes to provide the platform. And each tenant has its own set. So in the tenant tests, we have all of our Kuberneteses running. There is a Kubernetes Harvey and a Kubernetes cluster. The name of the cluster is cluster. So this one is named Harvey. And I'm going to take my headphones off now because I sound like I'm echoing to myself, and I can't imagine how it sounds for you, but probably no different at all. Okay. And on this README here, there is some detail about the network itself. So the 12net here is where all of my regular services run. Actually, there's no longer a DNS server here. I'm phasing out this file server. There's a new one called Metnoom that runs on a 13net subnet. And on this subnet, this is where all the fun stuff happens. So this is where our Cozystack nodes, our Talos nodes, get their home IPs. And they've moved around a little bit because they are actually dynamically assigned. I'm not sure what causes them to move sometimes and be stable other times. But once the node is provisioned, I think it has a stable IP. And if I was to guess, it's that it stops asking for DHCP. And that is the reason why it's not stable. So the DHCP server's also moved. Originally I followed the Cozystack docs pretty much to the letter. And over time I've changed a few things. I have now this microtic I thought I had a let's see. Oh, maybe that's not a thing. Yeah, so our DNS comes from the Pi-hole, which I guess is not advertising these IPs. We'll add them here. There's one for 12net, and there's another one for 13net. I think it should be mentioned in the DHCP list, even though this doesn't serve up. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so we can see there is in fact a Microtic router OS running here. And I'm pretty sure I know the password. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I think this one is serving DHCP now. So anyway, long story short, there is a DDWRT that actually connects to the WAN through the cable modem. And then there is a route configured to the 13net subnet and back from the 13net subnet. So if we look at, I think it's in here. Here's our DHCP server. And our routes. Yeah, so our default route is through the 12 net. And this guy, of course, has an IP address on each subnet so that it can route traffic between them. Alright, so if you're one of these Talos nodes, you live on the 13 net, you can access the 12 net, you can access the public internet, but for some reason video conferencing doesn't work. So when I join this other, I'm going to assume it's because too much NAT is happening, and there's some kind of NAT traversal thing that's supposed to make video conferencing work. But if you joined me for GitOpsCon and you saw the, if you were there live and you saw the mess up at the very beginning, it was because I was on the wrong, I was on the Cone of Silence Wi-Fi. So that was the problem there that day. There were a couple of problems that day. I also had a problem with my OpenGL slides tool. Let's see. This probably works fine with OBS. And maybe that's the strategy to use in the future. But it worked okay with this use GL flag. Here we go. You can see I work for this company, Navteca. Unfortunately, the title slide got cut off, so no one could see that at the conference. I didn't bring it up again throughout the talk. Anyway, we're not here to rehash this talk. But okay, so if we go to the Cozystack Talm demo repo, right? That repo that I already showed you. Here it's, I did show you, right? This one. There's a bunch of stuff in here. There's a configs directory. There is a Tailscale config, and this is what we're going to look at today. So here you can see the two routes mentioned that come up on this page, 96 and 244. Those are the subnets of our pod and service citers. Right, so if we look at the service, this is the service subnet, it's the 96. And if we look at all the pods, we'll see they all have one of these 244 addresses. There's a separate subnet for each node under here. And then there are some pods that run apparently with host network. Kube scheduler, kube controller manager, that makes sense. Those things, oh, you can't really see with me here on the screen. Get me off the screen. So, all right, so how does this work exactly? Well, we have, how do we see extensions here? We need Talos CTL. And if you're not super familiar with Talos, I'm going to skip Talos CTL if I can, because I think we can use Talm, which is a nice wrapper around Talos CTL. It does almost all the same things. Here you can see there's an apply config. We'll still use Talos CTL. There's a makefile command here, Talos CTL patch. I'm not sure if we can do Talm patch because yeah, that's not a thing. Unknown command. But Talos CTL has a patch command that you can use to apply a patch, an arbitrary patch to your node. I'm going to try to change the screen configuration a little bit here so I can be on screen so you can see me emote, and I'm probably going to regret changing this here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Properties. No. Filters. Headshot. Alright. I'm going to shave off. I guess I want more. 700. 800 pixels. Here we can take some off the top as well. And perhaps the bottom. Make sure I get my Tailscale t-shirt. Alright, you can still see me, hopefully. Perfect. Great. Okay, so what we do, first we install the extension, which requires a rebuild of the node image because Talos node's image file system is immutable. So when you want to upgrade a Talos node, you wipe out the disk and then you put a new image on there, or you wipe out at least the Talos system partition. I'm not sure how the partitions are exactly. I know that you can have separate partition for user data or for mutable state data that Talos will preserve unless you tell it specifically to wipe that partition. So if you look through the makefile here, there's a bunch of stuff related to that. And I use this makefile for the speed run. So when I tear down the Talos cluster and start it again, I will use most of these make targets. Here's nuke all nodes and nuke all nodes fast for when you really need to nuke all nodes fast. Don't say you weren't warned. Don't run these commands without understanding. These ones actually just print stuff out to the screen, so you really need to be committed if you want to mess things up with one of these commands. You need to run the command, then copy and paste the thing from the screen, and then paste it back into your terminal. If you do all that and you didn't read what you're doing, God help you, okay? And then there's this lovely ChatGPT created bash in makefile thing. I don't know how to write bash in a makefile like this. I asked ChatGPT to do it. It did a bang up job. It just sort of loops through all the nodes in the background and waits until they are responding again, making sure to see that they go down first. So if you run this monitor nodes reboot as soon as you nuke all nodes fast, you hopefully see them all come back with the same IP address. But like we said, that doesn't always happen that way. So we're not actually going to nuke any nodes today. We are going to break our Talos Tailscale config. We're just going to apply it again with a broken... See, if you look at the Tailscale config, we've got an auth key that's redacted and commented out because it's going to expire at some point, and I don't want to keep a copy of it in the repo or expose it to all of you, because who knows what you'll do with that. You could come into my home network, and I wouldn't like that very much. Actually, I usually allow people into my home network. If you want to join the Kingdom CI organization and be invited into my house, you can do all that. I have, if you can actually come here in person, I have beer on tap that I've been making, and you'll get a pour of Kingdom's own beer. But over the internet, the best I can do is LAN access via Tailscale. So either way, if you have interest in that, please contact me. But all right. I'm going to try to figure out how long I have rambled already, because there's supposed to be like a meat and potatoes timestamp somewhere, and I'm sure we haven't got there yet. All right, so there's lots of stuff, lots of fun stuff, but basically it's 2 steps only. We make sure that the image that we're installing has the Tailscale extension in it, which Cozystack does not by default, because Cozystack has its own VPN solution. But I want to use Tailscale. and then we make sure that this config gets applied to that node. And it has to be one node only, because number one, if you fail to apply this config to a node that has the Tailscale extension, then it will not appear as ready. And if you apply this config to all of the nodes, then I think that they will conflict with each other. I'm not exactly sure how this works. I know that within the Talos network configuration, you have to approve subnets, but I think that the individual machines are still going to conflict with each other if they all get the same config, even though only one of them is actually approved as the subnet route. Alright, so I'm going to create a new key. I'm going to do this off screen. I'm not exactly sure how. I guess here's what I'm going to do. Configs, Tailscale, config. Going to copy this file to sensitive version. Okay. And then in here, I'm going to put the content of my new key. I'm going to do it off screen. And then I'm going to copy the timestamp to the other one, just so that I can update Git. I'll copy the redacted version. That's what I'll do. Alright, so I'm going to show you as much of this as I can, so there's no mystery on how this is created. I think we're using this one that was created for the 19th here. Yeah, that's what my timestamp says. We're just going to create another one here. Going to make it reusable because this machine may go down and have to come back up. I think that's required. I'm not going to make it ephemeral because I want the device to stick around. And this is for Talos Tailscale key. Is it going to show up on my screen? Probably. So I'm going to click the Generate Key button off screen. And yep, sure enough, it displays the entire key. Okay. So I'm going to put this here. And there's a new timestamp. This one is October 11, 2025. At 1:08 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so we've got our new file here. We're going to apply the broken one, and then I'll manually apply, without showing you the content, the new one. Why is my... There we go. Get this back on screen. So we've got our new Talos Tailscale key. We're going to run make Tailscale. That should break our Talos configuration for Tailscale. We should see that one node go offline. Pretty quickly here. It says it's connected right now. How do we see it go offline? think just like this, right? Wait, is this not the machine? I'm afraid it just doesn't overwrite that that variable because I don't actually have it set here. So I'm gonna set it to the incorrect value, and that will certainly break the connection. Maybe we need to reboot that machine. Here, we can use Talm for this. Which one is 139? 139. It's this one. 9142A. Okay. Oh, HP Worker 06. Alright, so Talm reboot -f nodes HP Worker 06 .turkey.local. I believe this is going to drain the pods relatively safely. Shutting down kubelet gracefully. It says rebooting. Certainly this will bring the connection down. Alright, it has begun to reboot. Tailscale still thinks it's connected. There must be some lag here. Alright, it's not connected anymore. It has been disconnected. Will it come back? Probably not, because we overwrote the good key with a bad key. We're going to delete that key because it's no longer valid. What I'm a little bit surprised to see here is it says it's ready, and I was pretty sure it wouldn't be ready if all of the services didn't come online. Oh, okay, it's not ready now. So we should see this extension attempting to start itself. Once everything else has come online, we'll probably see that one extension working really hard, trying to bring itself up. And it's going to kick it back out of ready state to not ready. How did we reconnect? How did we reconnect? We should not be connected right now. Oh, we've got a node key. I think that's what it was trying to tell us. Alright, so if we delete this machine here, we definitely won't be reconnected here. Will be permanently removed. To re-add it, you will need to re-authenticate to your tailnet from the device. Alright, that's what I was expecting. Right, that one is gone now. And if we run Talos CTL restart Tailscale ext, Oh yeah. EXT Tailscale. Okay, it says it exited. Failed to off. Alright, that's all what we want to see there. It says you're logged out. The last login error was fetch control key. Cool. Okay, so now if we want this to work, we have to apply our valid Tailscale config. So let's look at that makefile. Get the syntax for how to apply a patch. We're going to apply the one that we just created here that has the valid key in it. You haven't seen the valid key, but I'm sure you believe me that there's a valid key in there. Applied configuration without a reboot. Now if we do logs, we are going to see, we should probably be able to see it from here too. We got a new connection. Here, our exit node not allowed. We can edit that if we want this to be allowed as an exit node. I don't want that in particular, but I do want these routes, so I'm going to save that. And then what we should be able to see is as we connect to Tailscale, hopefully this does not break anything in terms of our streaming. It's telling me we're still streaming. I don't see any issues. Alright, we're still connecting to Tailscale. Tailscale is starting. It says here we're connected. There we go. There's my MacBook. It's connected. And so we should be able to do things like, let's find a pod. Let's find a random pod. How about this Erminac.com pod? Here it's got an IP. Does it serve port 80? I don't know. Container port 80. It should be serving port 80. Is this the one that does the redirect? Erminac.com 0.2.0. Yes, I think this is the redirect. Alright, let's try the other one. Erminac 6.8. Alright, Erminac beta. Yeah, here this is our actual website. Here. Great. Cool. Alright. So that's what we want to see. We want to be able to do that when we are connected to the Tailscale subnet, Tailnet, and also because we have another machine here that serves this up. Now, what you can do, let's look at this again. Okay, so what you can do is you can add your LAN subnet here, and then you don't need another separate machine to serve that subnet up. And then you can communicate with the Talos API through Tailscale. However, if you do this, be aware that when you nuke all nodes fast, you are going to lose your configuration utterly, you will not be able to connect anymore, and you will not be able to recover from your remote location. So that's why I have this set up the way I do, where it's an external machine that runs, and you can see how this is configured on NetMoom. I have a split horizon DNS here, so I can get a public IP that points to this from outside, and then a private IP inside. Split horizon DNS. Fun stuff. Alright, so on here there is a package, Tailscale, right? And I don't know exactly how this is configured. I forget. I did it at some point. That's not what this episode is about. It's about Tailscale on Talos. So we're going to go back now. We're going to do the one thing that we haven't done, which is to see how did I get this image. Nodes, HP Worker 06. Image. This image, how did I get this image going? With the spin and the Tailscale, right? We've seen both. Erminac.com runs as a spin app. So if you look at spin apps, there's two spin apps, Containerd, Shim Spin, and that's how my website runs. Not inside one of these KubeVirt VMs. KubeVirt machine. Here you can see these KubeVirt machines that are great. They run Harvey, the tenant cluster that runs all of my important services. Takes a minute to respond at first. I think it's doing some communication with DEX to figure out if my OIDC token is valid, or maybe it's getting interrupted because I'm on the Tailscale. I'm not sure. I think that might be the problem. Yeah, that works fine when I'm not on Tailscale. That's very surprising and strange. I wonder why. Maybe some kind of NAT hairpinning thing. I don't know. Probably that. All right, so and we've got another one that runs all the other things that are slightly important, but a little bit separately because Harvey's got a lot of stuff going on and it might come down once in a while. Alright, so here's my Cozystack working tree, and I have a branch. We're going to pull the upstream branch, and we're going to rebase with as little ceremony as possible. I've got my where the hell is it? Man, there's lots of activity in here. I would love to spend more time on this myself. Here, Cozy package was introduced. Custom matchbox profile, spin only. All right, this is the thing here. Merged branches. So I'm going to take this, and it's from origin main here. Origin is my clone. Okay, git rebase, rebase merges, origin main. Oh, check out merged branches first. Okay, and then we're going to rebase from this commit onto upstream main. And if we get any conflicts, it should be very easy to resolve because this is a very short history. And then we're going to run gen profiles again because we want to get the latest version of everything. We're going to go in and we're going to read that script where I have made some unacceptable compromises that they persist anyway because I don't know what to do about them. We're going to ignore these conflicts because these are all in files that we're going to generate over. So packages core installer hack gen profile. Alright, so here we've got our spin and Tailscale extensions added. And somewhere in here is where I've hard-coded the versions of these. This is the unacceptable compromise. And I couldn't figure out how to do what they've done throughout here, which is to fetch the version. Some of these versions have a V prefix, like this one, and some of them do not. And I just gave up when I got to that point. I said, alright, well, I certainly don't know what either of these things are doing, but one of them is right and one of them is wrong for my use case, I'm sure, so I'm just going to hard code this by hand, and I'll show you where you can find the latest version. Talos extension. Alright, so each of these is in a category. Tailscale is in network, and spin is in container runtime. Okay, and there's a vars.yaml in either directory, and you can see what is the latest version of each thing. So, spin version 0.20. Here we'll update that one. And then this one was 1.8.84.2, if I read that correctly. Here, let's get rid of some of these. We don't need all these. So 0.20, 1.84.2. Alright. So then when we generate our profiles, we'll get the latest version. And we're also going to get the latest version of Talos. And we're going to have to rebuild the init RD, and we're going to have to rebuild the image. And I think in my bash history, or my ZSH history, I have exactly what we need to run in a single concise. Actually, here, we're just going to gen profiles, and we're going to finish the rebase first, because that's priority number one. Yeah, put that in there. And then hack gen profiles. It's going to go and it's going to scan for things like the latest Talos version. Here, this is where it should be scanning for the latest version of my extensions as well. But I just balked at that and said I'm not doing that right here. And images, Talos profiles. There, now we can see these things are being added correctly. So we're going to create a new init remfs installer, ISO, kernel, metal, image, no cloud. I think we're going to create all those because I'm not exactly sure which one I need. One of them is going to get pushed to the Docker hub. But first, like I said, we are going to finish our rebase. And we're going to run hackgen profiles again. And this one is supposed to be minus Tailscale, so I'm going to actually, let's see, I might have to abort and try again. Is it going to fetch the Tailscale version? Is it going to try to load Tailscale, or is it going to skip that? Oh, I think that's still coming soon. What is builder values? I'm pretty sure I want this one. We're going to overwrite that when we build a new image. Builder values. Imager 1.9.4. I don't think that's correct, but I'm going to leave it. Because we're going to rebuild it. This is supposed to be the commit that removes the Tailscale. We're just going to build one with Tailscale. We're not going to build two images today. The other nodes are just going to remain a bit behind because I only have limited time. This is a stream. I don't want to burden you with all my maintenance stuff, but we have to run this one more time. What are we doing this time? Oh, this time we remove Tailscale. Okay. Just going to run it one more time, overwrite all these files. I don't know what the correct values are. I don't want to resolve a merge conflict if I can avoid it. There, cool. So Talos, Tailscale, it's all in there. Just going to run it again. Cool. And somewhere in this history, I am sure there is a command for me to run. Here we go. These are all the things I have to run in order to rebuild Matchbox. But we've got a new Talos image name now. And I'm not using Matchbox today. Or am I? I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't done this in a while, is the Matchbox configuration isn't currently correct. So we're going to skip the image Matchbox stuff. We're going to run this stuff, but with the actual version of Talos that we have. Imager is not at 1.9.5 anymore. It is at core builder values. Did anyone see what version that said when we ran gen profiles last time? 1.10.5. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure this matches what we actually want to build. Then I think we can just run these commands and make sure we put the right 10.5 in there. I'm going to do one more thing here. We have an out assets directory. I can be sure that we rebuilt all of this stuff if I delete it. And if anything's missing, then it's going to fail. So I'm pretty sure init ramfs, kernel, and installer are the three things we need to build an image. Once we build an image, it's going to be at this name here. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the first two commands. We're going to verify that assumption, and then we're going to run the second two commands. Oh. And we need Docker host running before we can do any of this stuff. And then we can verify it here. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to pull the right version of Imager, latest version of Imager. Let's see if we got anybody watching. I don't ever expect to have a live audience for this stuff. I almost expect that someone is going to come along and say, hey, would you please edit this so I don't have to watch all the fumbling. But until someone does all that, I'm just going to record for me. And if you get some value out of it, great. I enjoy every person who gets any value out of anything I do. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And if you have specific questions, please reach out. I'm doing my best to keep this concise, but we're already over an hour, I'm pretty sure. 63 minutes ago, I started streaming. So what I'm going to do, I am going to try to make sure the show notes are include a nice, here, 63 minutes. 103. We're building Talos now. I will go back and find the actual timestamps of the things, but I'm trying to write the notes as I go to avoid the awkward rewatch of my own fumbling that takes way too much time anyway. We don't need to see that. Okay, so it's building stuff. It is building, at this point it looks like it's building the kernel. Copying blob. Scopio copy. And it's copying to docker//kingdomb/talos:\latest. So that's going to be the image at the top of the list here. I think we're almost done. Okay, it says 5 weeks ago, so that's not the image we want. Scopio copy. Docker export. What did we run? Make Talos installer, make image Talos. It says 5 weeks ago. I'm sure that's not right. Those things were all just created just now. Here's the last time I did it. Make image Talos and Docker pull. Ah, okay. Okay. So Scopio is actually publishing the image to kingdomb/talos:\latest. It is not exporting it to the local container registry, which is where I need it to be so I can tag it again with something other than latest. Here, and I'm publishing them to Docker Hub. So here you can see the image that I just published 2 minutes ago. And it's going to get one of these nice fancy names like this. Okay, so Docker tag like this. Only it's 10.5. Okay. And it's a quick push because it's already got the image. Now we can 10, that's not a good search, 10.3, there we go. Now we want 10.5. So we're just going to do this command without the -i because we're not applying for the first time. And we're going to pull up the dashboard again so we can see that node recycle. Here we go. Ready? See, it says it started Tailscale. We're going to get that again when it's rebooted. Oh, it says applying without a reboot. I don't think that's what I want. I actually want to reboot it. Do I apply it again now with reboot? How does that work? Mode reboot. Alright, we see that it did begin to reboot. Disconnecting. Oh, and you can just see that because I've resized my stupid face to be a little bit smaller. You're not missing anything over here. That's great. I think we're about ready for some more music. Are we going to listen to this one about June 12th? Is that what that says? I think so. I think we're going to listen to a different one. But we are going to listen to Ski Adereces, which I believe means ski equipment. Or skis, perhaps. I'm not sure which song I love the most. Maybe we'll listen to one I haven't heard yet. These are vlogs. No, I want music. Which one is my favorite? We could listen to the Asshole song. That's this one. They're all so good, though. You can listen to that one. Waiting for service ext Tailscale to be up. Now, did it wipe out my config? Is that what is happening here? I need to patch it again? That is possible. That's the wrong node. I want 139. Yeah. Alright, so that's how you do it. That is how you do it, guys. It's connected now. Got our latest Tailscale version. It should be 1.84.2. No, isn't that what we just installed? Huh. Odd. Odd, but I'm not going to look at it any further. Okay, so that's pretty much the story. More music, folks. Let's play us out. What are we going to play? I've built it up too much to not play it now. We're going to play this one. But I'm going to put the headphones on because I don't want feedback. Not that kind of feedback. You're welcome to submit your feedback. Here we're going to transition back to this other monitor for the good frame rate. Okay.
Γύρισα όλο το πλανήτη, γύρισα την Ασία, τη Σαχάρα. Λένε ότι έχω μαλακό μαγνήτη, παλιά κελτική κατάρα που με βασανίζει χρόνια και είπα φέτος να τη λύσω, να μην περάσει στα εγγόνια, στα παιδιά που θα γεννήσω. Και σ' ό,τι θες φίλο σταυρός, ό,τι θες βρήκα χθες, σε γραμμική, σε β' γραμμική, σε πλάκα αρχαϊκή το εξής, και το μετέφρασα για να το δεις. Μπορεί ο ήλιος να μαυρίσει, η Ανατολή να γίνει Δύση, να συγχαθούμε όλοι τη Σίζαρ σαλάτα, τη ζωή να παρατείνουν, όλα αυτά μπορεί να γίνουν, όμως ο μαλάκας θα είναι πάντα μαλάκας. Τάρετ, 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 και σ' ό,τι θες, σ' ό,τι θες φίλο σταυρός, ό,τι θες βρήκα χθες, σε γραμμική, σε β' γραμμική, σε πλάκα αρχαϊκή το εξής, και το μετέφρασα για να το δεις. Μπορεί ο ήλιος να μαυρίσει, η Ανατολή να γίνει Δύση, να συγχαθούμε όλοι τη Σίζαρ σαλάτα, τη ζωή να παρατείνουν, όλα αυτά μπορεί να γίνουν, όμως ο μαλάκας θα είναι πάντα μαλάκας. Τάρετ, 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 τάρετ. Μπορεί ο ήλιος να μαυρίσει, η Ανατολή να γίνει Δύση, να συγχαθούμε όλοι τη Σίζαρ σαλάτα, τη ζωή να παρατείνουν, όλα αυτά μπορεί να γίνουν, όμως ο μαλάκας θα είναι πάντα μαλάκας. Γύρισα όλο το πλανήτη, γύρισα την Ουγκάντα, την Αυστραλία. Δύο πράγματα δεν έχουν τέλος, το σύμπαν και η μαλακία. Έχω ένα γάτο με ένα μάτι, τον σακάτι, που έχει μια ιστορία γαμάτι, και με μένα όταν τον συγκρίνω βάζω ουίσκι, κόλλα και πίνω, τελικά μαλώνει με κότα. Έχω πάντα μαζί μου καπότα, κουβαλάω δεύτερη κοιλότα, τα αστεία μου είναι κλεμμένα, έχω τόσα αποθυμένα. Ίσως αν μου βγάλω το μάτι να γίνω λίγο σαν το σακάτι, και δεν θα με πιάνει το μάτι, γιατί δεν θα πιστεύω σ' αυτά. Πάλι καλά, πάλι καλά, πάλι καλά, πάλι καλά. Έχω κάτι λίρες που μου άφησαν κάτι θείες, κι όλο λέω να τις κάνω μπύρες. Αν τις έδινα στον σακάτι θα τις είχε κάνει κάτι. Οδηγάω ένα σκουτεράκι να γλιτώσω την κατεχάκη. Θα θέλα να χαμήχανάκι, μα δεν λέει να χαλάσω τις λίρες. Σε τροχαίο πεθάναν κι οι θείες. Ίσως αν μου βγάλω το μάτι να γίνω λίγο σαν το σακάτι, και δεν θα με πιάνει το μάτι,
Μέσα σε αυτό.
Είμαι στις κερκίδες, μασουλάω στα φίδες και σε παρακολουθώ να κάνει σοου. Φόρεσα κοτσίδες, έβαλα φακίδες, σαν καλή πλουσία έχω τσόου τσόου. Πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου, πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου. Θα σε διατηρήσω στους μείον 10 Κελσίου. Σμόκινγκ και λουστρίνι, κάνεις το χουντίνι, εντυπωσιάζεις με άθλια τρίξ. Έχεις πιστολακί, στεγνώνεις το μουστάκι, κάνεις και το styling του Asterix. Πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου, πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου. Θα σε διατηρήσω στους μείον 10 Κελσίου. Θα σε διατηρήσω στους μείον 10 Κελσίου. Μου πουλάς τρέλα, είμαι πιο τρελή. Φίλε κάνε πέρα, είμαι πιο τρελή. Γράφω μια νουβέλα για τη φετινή Eurovision. Πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου, πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου, πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου, πιου 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 μπαμ και πιου. Θα σε διατηρήσω στους μείον 10 Κελσίου.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.